If you could disinvent something, what would it be?
Landmines. Seriously. They buck up people long after wars are finished. Little Mika just out there juking on the field, and then...
Boom kablooey. Robot chicken time.
There's an estimated 800,000 tons of unexploded ordnance still in Vietnam that would take hundreds of years to clear out. For context, the bomb dropped in Hiroshima had a yield of about 15,000 tons of TNT. So quick mathematiques tells us that's 50 times worse.
There is also the so-called Red Zone or Zone Rouge in France from World War I. Per the news article, the Zone Rouge was defined just after the war as completely devastated. Damage to properties, 100%. Damage to agriculture, 100%. Impossible to clean. Human life impossible.
I have heard of 3 inventors who regret what they put into the world. Not going to bother looking up names right now. The USB inventor regrets not making it, so it could be inserted in either orientation. The K-Cup inventor regrets how much extra trash they cause. The pop-up inventor regrets inventing them at all.
Alfred Nobel so regretted inventing dynamite that he invented the Nobel Peace Prize as a way to encourage peace.
A newspaper printed out an obituary for him instead of his brother, who had actually passed away. It read, "The Merchant of Death is dead." Seeing how he would be remembered after he died, he created the Nobel Prize to award away all the money he made off dynamite, hopefully changing his legacy along the way.
He got a luxury few people do. At least, he got to see his legacy before it was all that's left.
The guy who coded infinite scrolling also regrets it, probably because of too many late-night Reddit sessions.
Ha ha ha. Interesting fact to read while I be scrolling infidelinately.
The guy who originated the Labradoodle also feels this way, as many have all the worst medical issues from both breeds.
That K-Cup guy aka Keurig coffee machine. I won a Keurig through a work raffle. I already hated the idea of it and did some research. The guy sold all his shares in the company before it took off. He tried making reusable ones, but Keurig got all legal on his big booty before there was enough pressure for them to make their own. But most people just used the disposable ones anyway. In 2015, enough K-Cups were made and dumped into landfills to wrap around the planet over 10 bucking times. What an environmental disaster. I donated the machine to a non-profit my wife works with, and they are adamant about using reusable K-Cups and not the single-use pods. Also, I don't drink coffee, so it was wasted on me anyway.
I fix reusable pods every weekend for the following week.
No wasted coffee. No trust.
The reusable cup by Keurig is terrible. I found a steel mesh aftermarket version and bought several.
We have a Keurig because my wife likes it. If it were up to me, I'd toss it, but here it stays. We use reusable cups and a burr grinder to fill them up. Makes a decent cup of coffee, but sometimes the cup doesn't close right, too full, or grounds got into the O-ring at the flange, and it drips water/grounds all over. So for that it sucks.
Was fully expecting Oppenheimer on this list, that Peaky Blinder bugger mate whack. He fully out of this world.
No, he never said once that he lived with guilt. In fact, he speaks in no uncertain terms about his feelings on the necessity of the bomb in an interview near the end of his life. He states clearly that he is unaware of a better course of action that could have been taken to end the war. That is not to say it didn't weigh heavily on his conscience. Any person who is not a complete psychopath would understandably have complicated feelings about such a thing, regardless of whether they felt justified or not. Also, you, and many others, talk like he was the sole inventor and maker of the bomb. This isn't true. He was merely the leader of the massive Manhattan Project, where hundreds of scientists and engineers invented the bomb. The bomb was getting made whether Oppenheimer was the project leader or not. He stood firmly on his belief that he was compelled to do whatever he could to ensure Hitler didn't get the bomb first. while it only was revealed afterward that the Nazi atomic bomb program was nowhere close. Making sure the US developed first was the only way to ensure they never got their hands on it.
Well, at the end of the day, when the tree huggers wake up and realize what an environmental disaster EVs are with the present nature of the power grid, I think nuclear power is what will end up saving our bacon. You just build your reactors 300 feet below ground in the middle of nowhere and it is fine. And once they pull the paranoid anti-nuclear power cob out of their butts, it will quickly become apparent that carbon-neutral synfuel is the answer, not strip mining every last bit of lithium out of the Earth's crust. They're never going to get everyone driving EVs. It is impractical at best. A backwards compatible solution is needed. We also still need hydrocarbon fuel for planes, and that won't change for a very long time. You can't put 30 tons of lithium on a commercial airliner and have it carry a viable, useful load. It is also just incredibly stupid from a safety perspective. It is an even dumber idea than the failed nuclear jet engine. Meanwhile, Hamas is salivating at the thought of us willingly turning our commercial airliners into actual bombs. A lithium battery-powered Dreamliner, when crashed into the Pentagon, will take out all of DC. The explosion would fling burning chunks of lithium miles away and would make the world's largest FAE look like a firecracker. We'd be talking thermonuclear bomb levels of energy released all at once, with an incendiary effect similar to 1 million tons of white phosphorus going off. When you survive with 95% burns to your body, you'll wish you got nuked because dying of radiation poisoning would be less painful and mercifully quick by comparison.
John McAfee, the guy who invented/started the McAfee antivirus software, regrets doing so. Edit. All of us boomers remember, sorry the young kids never got to use Windows 007. Oh my, what trash.
Household appliances that are tied to subscription services.
What in the hashtag EA? It's in the game. Is going on here?
Next time there's going to be loot boxes.
Quadruple A appliances. Ain't nobody got time for that AAA garbage.
Loot boxes? You mean an expensive box with a low chance of a good result? That's just a printer. HP, where you at?
Ring products.
From what I can tell, you don't need a Ring subscription to use their cameras, which is all I know them for anyway. What's wrong with Ring?
On Ring, your footage is stored exclusively on their servers, all your audio, pictures, alerts, and videos. Also, it all belongs to them per the terms and service agreement. Edit. Literally watch their marketing director talking about sharing with all Leos and advertisers. Unify Camera Systems, on the other hand, make phenomenal cameras that have connected to HomeKit API and allow me to control them via my Siris, my Alexas, my tablets on the walls, my phones, even my Apple TVs have apps to view all live feeds. Huge difference in service, quality, and connectivity.
Pop-up ads. Me never like it.
The creator of them even apologized creating them. Shout out my boy Ethan Zuckerman. Dude later called it the original sin of the internet.
Stop browsing all that corn, mate. It can't be good for your eyes. Just ask Texas.
Yep, but they're on mobile games too.
The packages they put scissors in, that you need scissor to open. What the buck is that?
Out of everything you could have chosen, you chose this one, and I 100% get it.
The medical insurance industry.
The problem with modern insurance is that it's been completely corrupted with the drive for profit. In a pure form, insurance has the potential to be incredibly beneficial to the people who use it, but the profit incentive causes companies to use every trick and loophole in the book to not give out what is owed. Man. These boomers. They gots to go.
Don't forget for-profit hospitals. It's all tied back to how we tax and structure wealth in the US. None of this should be making people rich. Hospitals be charging $200 for a Kleenex when they bill the insurance.
Those nearly blinding, unnecessarily bright car headlamps. Edit. Wow, I didn't know there a whole subreddit for this r/Buckier headlights.
This is a safety rating issue, honestly. One way to boost a car's safety rating was to have brighter headlights. Now everyone struggles to see, making the roads less safe, lol.